bought a storage facility, or if you're, if you're already a person that owns storage, then welcome. And if you have not owned any storage and you're looking to buy a storage facility, you are in the right place, because that's what I do, is I teach people how to buy storage facilities. And we have 11 of our own, and then we have 2 in our fund, the Self Storage Fund of America. And we're in the process of buying, well, so it's so funny. It's so funny because I made an offer on a facility. Gosh, it's been like almost 2-3 months ago. I got it under contract for I made an offer for $1.9 million. And then, and that's actually the most expensive like storage facility that I've ever bought. So everybody, you guys all know that I'm like secondary and tertiary market. So I'm used to like just smaller facilities. So this is a $1.9 million facility. And then as we started to do due diligence and really kind of look at his numbers and things like this, then we started to, we changed our offer to 1.7 million. And he said okay to that. So we put it under contract for $1.7 million. And now, like, after we've been there and we've had like 60 days to really kind of dig deep into like this facility and look at like economic occupancy versus physical occupancy and look at CapEx and all this stuff, then we realized that the facility is really only worth $1.4 million. And so we came back to the owner and we told the owner that we wanted to change our offer. I said, look, I know it's gonna piss you off, but like the only thing that, the only price that we could pay is like $1.4 million. I mean, it's just not like, I've talked to my investors, we've looked at like financing it, and 1.4 is kind of just where everybody wants to be. And that's where we want to be. And that's where kind of we feel comfortable. And he was, of course, pissed. And I would be pissed too, because like that's like $300,000 that's just gone. And so so I let him, like, I kind of just talked to him and then I let him, think about it and stuff. And that was like, maybe that was last week sometime. Actually, he didn't talk to me for like a whole week. I thought like maybe a week or two. Yeah, I told him like, yeah. So right after we got back from the holidays, I told him, and he didn't talk to me. He was like pissed. And so then he just came back today and he messaged me. He said, okay, if you can do 1.425, then you can take the facility. He said, I talked to my wife. He said, so let's hop on Zoom and let's like discuss this. But he's like, I want to just finalize it. So we went from 1.9 to 1.7 to 1.4 on this facility. And the facility is actually a great facility. It's worth like 3.3 to $3.4 million. But it's the physical occupancy versus the economic occupancy is like not good, honestly. And then there's like a warehouse on the facility, on the property. There's like a warehouse that he kind of rents out, like a whole bunch of different like 6 different like spaces. And he's not making what he should be making. And also the people that are there are like just like ruining that whole place and stuff. So it's going to take, that building itself is going to take like a lot of work. So it's a storage facility plus like a warehouse. And I really want to make that warehouse into climate control. And but I didn't put that in like the numbers or anything, because like when I look at numbers, I typically look at numbers like what is it right now? What could it be doing right now? Not like, what if I added more spaces? Now, some people, they love developing. I mean, some people, they look at property and they say, look, I could definitely add, more space. I want more space. And actually, I have a whole handful of students that I'm doing like turnkey acquisitions for. And they're adamant, like, I want like a facility plus land. And, because they want to add on and stuff, but we just really aren't like those type of people. We like to like buy, fix up, stabilize, and then just sell. In fact, the first 4 facilities that we bought, we're going to be selling in January. We're going to list those out. And we're gonna list those. And I'm looking forward to selling those, because you know, not only am I going to make some money on them, but also I get to go through that process because I've never sold a storage facility before, you know. So all of the facilities we've had, we've been holding on to them for, you know, for the last couple of years. So I'm kind of excited to go through that process. And like, you know, who knows where the market's going to be? And I talked about this last time. Where's the market going to be? And like when we list the property in January, it's going to take us like, you know, 3 to 6 months to sell the things. I will be listing my properties at 20% what everybody else, 20% lower what everybody else is listing them at. So people might think, oh, wow, that's a lot of money, 20% lower. But the truth is that, you know, when you get into this business and you really figure this business out, I mean, to buy a storage facility is like not a big deal. You know, I mean, to buy a storage facility and hold on to it for a couple of years and then sell it and then just go buy another storage facility, for me, that's my protocol. That's how I work. That's how me and Pete work. And that's just kind of our system. So for me to, you know, I don't have to make top dollar on every single one of my facilities. I'm not going to hold on to my facilities until like I get the highest point or whatever, because I know that I could just like take that money. In fact, what's going to happen is that like I have like $1 million in those 4 properties from private lenders, and we'll sell it for about $3 million. And that $1 million from those private lenders, essentially, they don't want that money back. You know, they don't want that money back. So I'll be able to roll that money right into to some, you know, to some deals. And on top of that, I'll be able to take my money that I have and put those into other deals. So for me to sit there and really push the numbers on like 3.3, 3.5 or whatever, like, you know, because it could get that much, then I just rather just sell those suckers and just like roll that money into more stuff and just keep moving on is what that's kind of my personality. But I have a lot of students, you know, and there's nothing wrong with this as well too. Like they have a number in their head, and this is exactly how sellers are too, right? They've got this number in their head and they're going to hold on to that number, especially if you only have one storage facility, right? Especially if you just have that one storage facility. You're like, I've got to make as much money as I possibly can on this property. So, you know, just keep that in mind, of course, from the seller's point of view. Sometimes when they only have one property, that's their retirement. That's like, you know, that's their life. That's their livelihood, you know, so they want to like penny pinch and get as much as they can. But the truth is you really should be in that. You should get yourself into the position where it's like, you know, have a couple of these things or more than a couple. And then that way you can just, you know, rinse and repeat. You can just sell and just keep moving on. All right. So that's kind of where I'm at. We're about to go through the liquidation process. And I talked about this last week. We're sitting with our CPAs. We had meetings with CPAs last week. And I'm trying to figure out like taxes and selling properties and what's going to happen and like tax sheltering and this kind of stuff is where we're at.